Okay, now that we've figured out how to run the project, let's look inside it and see what we can change, because ultimately our goal is to create our own tank file that can fight other tanks based on a decision algorithm we program. To start out, I want you to look at this folder right here, the one called Tank Wars. We've got quite a few Java files here, and you actually only ever need to change one of these files. It's the one called tankwars.java. So let's open that up and scroll down a little bit, and you should see at line 35 there's a string created called file name, and we gave it a value. It's called Paul versus Dumb.txt. So this is a text file that tells the program which tanks are going to be fighting each other. And we can actually switch to the Files tab rather than the Projects tab, and we can look at what other files are inside this project. So let's find Tank Wars. And there's a folder called Arrangements. So if you open that, you'll see there are several text files. Apparently the one that this program is currently using is called Paul versus Dumb.txt. So if we click on that one, we can see it has the name of the two different tank classes that are used in that fight. If we wanted to change it so that there were actually two Paul tanks and two Dumb tanks, we could easily add another line and type Paul tank again and Dumb tank again. And if we run it, you'll see there are now 4 tanks in the arena, and it actually shuffles them, so we won't always have Paul tanks on the top. So if I run it again, you'll see the Paul tanks are on the left. I could run it again still, and they're shuffled again. So it doesn't matter what order you put them in here. It just means these ones will be included in the fight. And if you wanted to add your own file, you could easily right-click on Arrangements, create a new empty file, and save it as a txt file. I'm just going to call this arrangement5.txt. And inside here, there's nothing so far. Let's just put one tank. Let's put a Dumb tank in it. And save it. Then we'd have to go back to our projects view and open up tankwars.java. And instead of Paul vs Dumb.txt, we need to change it so it's the one we just created called r5.txt, short for arrangement5.txt. So now if I run it, it'll only have one tank in it. And the game is already over because there's only one tank, so it tells us he won first place. And you can actually have up to 24 tanks in the arena. So if you want to see what one of those looks like, I have an arrangement file already created with 24 of the same tank in it. It's called 24 Paul tanks. So let's just comment out the first line so that this is the file name it uses. And we run it. And here we have 24 Paul tanks fighting each other. Of course, the tanks you see here are not using the code I've written for my tank. These ones are just choosing a move at random every time. But I have actually implemented my own tank class that is a lot more sophisticated and a lot more difficult to beat. And when we do the tournaments, you'll get to see it. Let's just fast forward a little bit here to the end. After the time runs out, a window will pop up that says Results, and it'll tell who won the game. And there's a tiebreaker set up so that if more than one tank is left, the tank with the most kills becomes the winner. If there's still a tie, then it goes to the tank who had the most almost kills. And an almost kill is defined as a shot that would have killed a tank, but the tank dodged it at the last second. So it counts as an almost kill. It means that your tank was on target, but the other guy just had good defense. And if there's still a tie, the third tiebreaker is who had the best bullet average error. So if your tank is shooting lots and lots of bullets and they're just going out into nowhere, then you're probably not going to win that tiebreaker. But the tank that makes better shots, that is usually aiming at somebody, of course their average error is going to be lower. So the tank with the lowest average error would win the third tiebreaker.